Hello. I just set up this, wait, let me tilt it up there. Okay. I just set up this, phone holder. Got it for Christmas. And what is it now? February? And I'm just setting it up, but whatever. So I'm gonna be one of those ladies that drives while I'm talking, but I'm not touching the phone. I'm not holding on to the phone. I know that's usually what the problem is. My phone is secured. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this conversation I had with a guy 2 weekends ago. I started going to this new church. I was trying to find a church to send my youngest daughter to. She's a shut-in, for lack of a better explanation, and she wants to socialize, make friends. So she's a little odd, so I could not, I mean, she's worldly, she's not saved, so I couldn't really send her to like a very conservative church where, you know, all the girls wear dresses. She would not fit in. So I had looked at some options. She didn't want to go to certain locations because she knew people that went there and she didn't want to interact with them. So anyway, we finally found this church and she likes it. Fortunately, she wants to go back. Today's Wednesday, you know, so they have a youth program in the evenings. I will be returning to this evening, so that's good. But while she was there for the first time, I figured I'd stay. Instead of dropping her off and leaving, you know, I'd stay and hang out. And during that particular evening, they were doing testimonies. I guess they did a short sermon about joy and what it means to have joy in hard times. And then they wanted everyone to kind of just, you know, whoever felt it upon themselves to come up and say something. So a couple people did, and a lot of them were talking about the hardships that they've had to endure this year, a lot of loss, a lot of deaths and things of that nature. So I was just like, heck, I'll go up and say something. So I went up and introduced myself, since it was my first time there, and not one to be afraid of public speaking. I mean, if I was, I wouldn't be putting my face on the internet, so I wasn't nervous about. Gosh, it's really bumpy. I hope you guys don't mind the video. It's like really bumpy. Anyway, I wasn't nervous at all about going up there. But I introduced myself, and then explained my job, being in hospice and being around a lot of dead people a lot of times, and told them that something to have faith in, or, you know, something to have hope for, is that with people that are dying, a lot of them see dead loved ones in the room with them. They see, you know, siblings or parents or spouses waiting for them on the other side. And I've never had an account from people that are dying saying like that they see like a shadowy figure, or they see a strange little boy, or they see a demon. I've never had them say that there's something there that they don't recognize. It's always been that it's someone they know. It's always someone they know. So, the skeptic that might say, oh, well, they're just hallucinating. I mean, if they are just hallucinating, then it's my husband. I will call him later. If they are just hallucinating, then I don't see why they wouldn't see a mixed bag of things. Because people who hallucinate don't see such specific people. They might see their mother talking to them. That might be, but they might also see demons. I mean, I worked at a mental hospital for 5 years, over 5 years. I was a nurse there for 5 years. And, they see all kinds of things. If they're hallucinating, a lot of times they see demons. A lot of times they see things that scare them. So, to have like testimony from 100 people, because I've seen hundreds of people pass on. I've carried them through. Hundreds of people have died under my care. I guess this is the only field where that's a good thing to say as a nurse. But yes, hundreds of people have died under my care. And in amongst those hundreds of people, anyone who says they see somebody hallucinating, they see someone they know that is already deceased, and is in the room waiting for them. So anyway, I kind of, in a more succinct way, explained that to this church group. And a lot of people approached me afterwards and thanked me for my testimony, which was fine. But then the next service I went to the Sunday service. Took my little 4-year-old to let him, experience the preschool class. I'm trying to get him more familiar with interacting with other kids, because he's in a speech class right now for his autism, but the speech class is mainly him interacting with other therapists. And while there's other children in the room, there's very little social interaction between him and the other children. It's mostly him engaging with adult therapists that are trying to get him to repeat what they're trying to say, which is a whole other story. I'm not going to get into the details of that, but anyway, so I want him to get more comfortable with engaging with peers, because he's going to be starting kindergarten in September, and I want him to have had some exposure to other children and interacting with other children, because he says so very few words. I don't know, I guess I hoped he might do better if he's had some previous experience with little kids. But anyway, so I brought him back. I'm going to continue to take him. My teenage daughter, she said she's going to go again tonight, so that's good. But on Sunday when I took him, a gentleman approached me after the service and said that he was grateful for my testimony, but he is having a really hard time because he's very afraid of dying. He knows that he's saved. He knows that he's going to heaven, but he still scares him to feel like he's not going to be ready, and it scares him to face that mortality anytime soon. So he asked my advice on how to cope with this, and all I could say to him was that every person that I have treated in hospice, every single one, has been at peace with the knowledge that they are dying. Their families may not be. Sometimes the families aren't ready to hear that. But the patients themselves are at peace, knowing that there's nothing else that can be done and that they are dying. So I told him, I said, I feel like even if you're scared now, the comfort is knowing that when your time comes, when you are dying soon, that the Lord will give you the peace that you're searching for when that time comes. And if you're scared when you're about to die, you'll be the first one I've ever met. So, I mean, maybe it's different if you're laying in a car flipped over and you're bleeding everywhere and you know that you're not going to make it. I don't know how peaceful of a passing that would be, but for most of us, I would like to think that our dying is not a sudden and catastrophic thing. And for most of us, because it's peaceful, it is easier to accept. So anyway, he thought that was really helpful to hear, so I figured I'd share it with anyone else that might be struggling with those same fears. I'm not telling you not to be afraid. I am no longer afraid of death. I've seen it far too much to fear it anymore. But I don't blame anyone for being afraid of death. All I can say is that it won't feel that way when the time comes. I can probably guarantee that. So it's okay to be afraid of it now. Accept that fear, because it won't be there when you're about to go. So anyway, that's all I wanted to share. I'll talk to you later. Bye.